he then says one of the most controversial things in here, which, again, could apply to any episode of Love Island where they split off into the different houses and are presented with...
I've never watched Love Island.
So my family watch it all the time religiously. And there's this thing called Casa Amor. And what they do is, midway through the series, they take the guys and girls that have been coupled up and have been stuck together and seeing it through. Obviously, most of them are just in the game to try and win the money and split up at the end. But there have been some couples that have come of it, so I'm not going to doubt every Dino's genuineness. They go to Casa Amor, and the guys are met with new girls, and the girls are met with new guys. And they get a couple of nights there, and they can either come back with someone they prefer there and literally cuck their partner, or stay loyal. But they never know if their partner is cucking them or staying loyal at the same time. So they're just surprised when they come back. And what he says here is how to rekindle a relationship if you have found yourself too close to or actively engaged with another woman other than your wife, if you've taken a mistress, how to turn her hatred for you back into love with the right level of manipulation and not allow it to entropy into apathy, which will actually kill the relationship.
Right.
If she no longer cares, she won't take it as a slight, and so she'll just give up and move on. But if she's still mad at you, you have a chance at turning it back around to your benefit.
Right, okay.
So he says, you who just hid your crimes on my advice, because prior verses he said about how to conceal your mistress if you have one. I wonder why I got thrown out the Empire.
Yeah.
Change course and, in my advice, reveal your secrets. I'm not guilty of fickleness. The curved prow is not always blown onwards by the same wind. Now we run to a Thracian northerly and easterly now. Sometimes a west wind fills our sails, sometimes a south. Look how the charioteer now slacks the reins, then skillfully restrains the galloping team. There are those who don't like being served with shy kindness, while love fades if there's no rival around. Generally, heads are swollen with success. It's not easy to be content with the good times. As a fire with little powder gradually consumes, hides itself, ashes whitening on its surface, but the doused flames will flare with a pinch of sulfur, and the brightness that was there before returns. So when hearts are numbed by slack dullness and security, love is aroused by some sharp stimulus. Make her grow fearful for you, warm her tepid mind, let her grow pale at evidence of your guilt. Oh, 4 times happy, times impossible to count, is he for whom his wounded girl grieves, that, when his sins reach her unwilling ears, she's lost, and voice and colour flee the unhappy girl. Let me be him whose hair the angry woman tears. Let me be him whose tender cheeks nails seek. Him whom she sees with her tears, turns on him tortured eyes, whom, though she can't live without, she wishes she could. If you ask for how long you should let her lament her hurt, keep it brief, lest a long delay kindles anger's force. Throw your arms straight away around her snow-white neck, and let the weeping girl fall on your chest. Kiss her who weeps, make sweet love to her who weeps, there will be peace. This is the one way anger's dissolved. When she's truly raging, when she seems fixed on war, then sue for peace in bed, she'll be gentle. There harmony dwells with grounded arms. There, trust me, is the place where grace is born. Doves that once fought, now bill and coo, whose murmur is of caressing words. That's genius level insight. Because I have noticed, especially with modern materialistic women whom feel, especially if they don't have any children or marriage to tie them into the relationship, who feel they can constantly trade up, that the grass is always greener. That if there is a separation, or, as you said, if not just their partner gets a new girlfriend, but if they feel threatened by the presence of another woman in the proximity of their man that reminds them of the worth of their man, that can reignite the passion in a relationship.
Yep.
It was in Dostoevsky as well, where he spoke about, the narrator was talking to the prostitute that he's in bed with, I think it's Lila or Liza or something like that. And he says, there's some women who, in order to inspire passion in their detached or workaholic man, will incite an argument just to test if he still cares. Yep. It's not just a shit test. It's to see if they can inspire the same level of passion as they do anger and transmute one feeling into another. And so he's saying here, if she still cares enough to be offended that you've run off with some other woman, there's a chance for you to secure the investment again and reignite your relationship. I think that's genius.
It kind of is. The interest of another woman, it's shocking how much more interesting the man will be to his wife or girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember seeing it was some sort of survey where women were basically being asked when their man is most attractive, and it's when they're doing the thing that gets them praise from others.
Yes.
That's when, it's like when put an actors on a stage at a theatre person. That's when they're at the most attractive. And I think a lot of it is to do with the desire of other people for that person. Makes them more attractive to them.
Yeah, the in-demandedness of their man
Yeah.
affirms their status at the top of the social hierarchy, because if women want to trade up, then they're suddenly reminded that this is the best I can do. And so I feel more secure in my long-term prospects. There's also the case, and I've said this before, of some people in the media circuit, lots are narcissistic, obviously not in this office, but in the outside, because they're keen for airtime, that airtime can be an aphrodisiac, because lots of people in the sphere do get around. And that seems to be that there's a marker of demand. The more and more you're booked is the more and more women in the sphere do tend to go for you. So just an interesting observation off the back of that. He then also says, don't fall prey to emotionality if she tries to make you jealous in turn.
Right.
So be the rocks on which her emotional waves may break. Why waste time on trifles? Greater themes arise. I sing great things. Pay attention, people. We labour hard, but virtue's nothing if not hard. Hard labour's what my art demands. Be patient with your rival. Victory rests with you. You'll be victor on great Jupiter's hill. Believe me, it's no man says this, but Chiona's sacred oaks, my art contains nothing more profound than this. If she flirts, endure it. If she writes, don't touch the wax. Let her come home where she wishes, and go where she pleases too. Lay out no snares for rivals. Don't intercept those handwritten messages. Let husbands trap them if they think they indeed need trapping. Husbands to whom the ceremony of fire and water gives the right. Look, I swear again, there's nothing here except what's played within the law. No virtuous woman caught up in my jests. And it seems to me that the advice would be, don't spend time fretting over whether or not she's interested or speaking to or texting someone else or writing them letters, obviously.
Yeah.
Instead, take her loyalty as an axiom of faith. If she breaks it, it's on her.
Yeah.
And the fact that she could make you jealous is always going to be a piece of leverage that you could hold over your head in order to manipulate you.
Shows weakness in your character as well.
Yeah. What you need to do is treat her infidelity as a possibility as her loss.
Yes.
Her inability to recognize your value.
But also, it shows that you're not really in control of yourself, let alone the relationship itself. Because what she's trying to do is, a woman knows what she's doing when she's trying to make you jealous. And she's trying to see if you are essentially weak of character. And if you show that you're not, and if she goes too far and you say, right, okay, it's over, goodbye, then that's still you maintaining that boundary and pride that you had, that she's trying to subvert.
Absolutely. He also says, don't be a beta male and brag about how many women you've slept with.
Yeah.
Because it's too easy.
It's cringe.
Yep. Who dare reveal to the impious the secret rites of Keres, or uncover the high mysteries of Samoth race? There's little virtue in keeping silent, but speaking of what's kept secrets a heinous crime. Oh, it's good if that babbler Tantalus, there we go, clutching at fruit in vain, thirsts in the very middle of the waters. Venus, above all, orders you to be silent about her rites. I warn you, let no idle chatterers come near her, though the mysteries of Venus are not buried in a box, nor echo in the wide air to the clash of cymbals, but are busily enjoyed so by us all. They wish to be concealed among us. Venus herself, when she takes off her clothes, covers her sex with the half-turned palm of her left hand. Beasts couple indiscriminately in full view. From this sight, girls of course turn aside their faces too. Bedrooms and locked doors suit our intrigues, and shameful things are hidden under sheets. And if not darkness, we seek some veiling shadow, and something less exposed than the light of day. Even back then, when roofs kept out neither rain or sun, and the oak tree provided food and shelter, pleasure was had in the woods and caves, not under the heavens. Such care the native peoples had for their modesty. But now we advertise our nocturnal acts, and nothing's bought if it can't be boasted of. No doubt you'll look out every girl, whatever, to say, to whom you please, she too was mine. And there'll be no lack of those you can point out. So for each that's mentioned, there's a shameful tale. Little to cry at. Some invent what they deny if true, and claim there isn't one they haven't slept with. If not their bodies, they touch what they can, their names and their reputation's gone, though the body is chaste.
Right, so essentially, by either bragging or making up stories, you are ruining the reputation of all women, and this is bad for everyone.
Yeah, you are poisoning the well as a man. This is something that I said in covering the Patrice O'Neill video, which one commenter summarized as leave the campsite cleaner than you found it. And that is that if you abide by the bros before hoes philosophy, don't sleep around because that woman can end up being your friend's wife Or
Yep.
if you do the Billie Jean thing of running around and breaking young girls' hearts by promising them love to get sex, you're going to create emotional suicide bombers of resentful feminists who, in talking about the patriarchy, they really mean that one great high-value guy who was excellent in bed and shattered their dreams.
Yep. And did it to all their friends.
Yeah. And then the interesting thing he does say in that is the fact that you should be doing things behind closed doors because the act which is put on public display has no value anymore. And we see that with our overly saturated sexualized culture.
Yep.
It's miserably desensitizing. Most Zoomers think of sex as an act rather than something to be earned or has any kind of deeper emotional quality to it.
Look at the level of perversion. There are so many Zoomers who are like, right, okay, I can only get off to 2 furries, doing whatever, a certain particular weird, really weird perversion. It's like, yeah, but when I was your age, a naked woman was more than enough. It's like the internet has ruined you because of your exposure to these things.
Yeah, abstinence kind of resets your parameters to being appropriate.
Yes.
I think most men's brains are just blasted out with overstimulation at the moment. So good luck out there, lads.
Yep.
He then also tries to say, don't trade the maturity of character off for youth and beauty. So much like Juvenal said, don't marry superficial, attractive women because it will come back and bite you in the backside. He says, don't ask how old she is. Good advice. Or who was consul when she was born. That's strictly the censor's duty, especially if she's past bloom and the good time's gone and she now plucks the odd grey hair. There's value, O youth, in this or a greater age. This will bear seed. This is a field to sow. Besides, they have more knowledge of the thing and have that practice that alone makes the artist. With elegance, they repair the marks of time and take good care that they don't appear old. As you wish, they'll perform in 1,000 positions. No paintings ever contrived to show more ways.
Get yourself a cougar, lads.
I don't endorse that, but to pause there, actually, in the inverse, there's a phenomena of where guys who are considered silver foxes can get much younger women. It's like the Leo DiCaprio thing, right? He only dates girls that are in their early 20s.
Yeah.
And the maturity gap is why those relationships are an endless cycle of expedient flings. Because you're never going to foster a lifelong relationship with someone of such disparate life experience and values.
Yeah.
And I think we see that actually with Scott Adams, who has been recently in the headlines for other reasons.
Yeah.
But quite a while ago, he married a very attractive younger woman.
Yep.
And then during the pandemic, she left him and took lots of his money. And you just need to be very careful as to who exactly you settle down with, because lots of these women might be the hypergamous harlots who are only in it for your cash that you've accrued through years of experience, whereas you could settle with someone who is not an amazing supermodel, but has the content of character to hold your hand when you die. That would be a much nicer way to do things.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.